All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are good to go. The next best of three is ready. Gamers2 taking on, I'm hoping I'm saying this right, Genei Ryodan, one of the teams that actually qualified for this tournament series alongside LGA Esports, who previously did lose 0-2 to Virtus Pro. And my God, already they're off to the races. So we did have Sky Temple as the first pick. And this is a Gamers2 map. Genei Ryodan saying, all right, game number 2 is going to be Blackheart's Bay. And the last map going to Cursed Hollow. So, with that being said, Gamers2 picking up Sky Temple. Hopefully they got something up their sleeve. But look at this already. With the first pick, Gamers2 with the first ban, they actually ban out Zeratul. That's not something that you see a lot of as a first ban potential. And then Genei Ryodan saying, all right, well, we can just easily ban out the Jaina. Now, we did talk about the powerful top 3. Zeratul, Jaina, Leoric. It's actually going to be... oh, I totally lied. It's the first pick, first ban for Genei. My bad. All right, so they banned out Jaina, then Zeratul. Makes a heck of a lot more sense. Then they first pick into the Abathur. So Gamers2 saying, all right, we can take the Zagara. If they don't take Leoric, I'm going to actually be very curious because the top 3 right now that we see is Zeratul, Jaina, Leoric. It's usually either a pick, a ban, or a first pick or a ban. And then usually, like, if you get to second round bans and they're still kind of sitting there, I'd be a little surprised. But Gamers2, they're saying, all right, we can do this. Zagara and Uther. All right, Genei Ryodan, they got to be thinking now, with that Abathur on Sky Temple, what melee are they going to be putting that Abathur hat on? And Leoric is still kind of the front runner, at least in my eyes coming into this. But Gamers2, with Zagara, with that Uther, they're setting themselves up nice and neutral. They're not going to get out-picked or out-banned for their support because they already got that Uther ready to go. And Zagara for not only the lane control with the presence there, with that specialist, but as well the zone control in a lot of these fights. With the Zeratul banned out, the Maw is the only real kind of big AoE controlling mechanism kind of that's still popular right now. So picking up the Zagara there again, it's a very neutral but very safe opening, and there it is. That's the Leoric right there from Genei. They are also going to be picking up their support this early, so neither team looks like they're going to be falling into that trap. But Abathur Leoric, absolutely ridiculous kind of combination. Malfurion to be sitting there as well. This is telling me that Genei Ryodan is likely to go into a double warrior. Leoric as a single tanking warrior doesn't really get a heck of a lot done by himself, but you pair it up with a Johanna, with a Mirrodin, and now you got a Malfurion to heal them all up there as well. The Tranquility will be getting so much value on those big hit point pools of those double warriors. Abathur with the hat is just going to be absolutely insane, but Abathur with the clone, double Leoric, double Johanna, whoever their DPS is going to be by the end of it, could absolutely be mind-boggling. But Gamers2 saying we're not willing to give up a Kael'thas to you, and at the same time Genei Ryodan saying, well, we don't want you to have an Anubarak. That control of the bug is just not going to be something that Gamers2 can count on, but they do need to set up a warrior and probably at least one more DPS. We have been seeing a lot of double specialists, and if we actually go into the Nazeebo from here, if we go Zagara and Nazeebo, then I'm not entirely too sure we're going to have enough to kind of counter the big engage that Genei Ryodan is going to be looking for. So I would want to see like a Vala, Sylvanas. Okay, there's a Sylvanas. I definitely dig that. And there's the Mirrodin as well. Johanna was a big first pick, first ban, well, not ban, but a big first pick potential in our last game series. And here she is into the last pick phases, and she's nowhere to be found. Genei, if they are going to go for a double tank, I would probably wager a bet it's going to be a Johanna for the control. Johanna Leoric is set up, Malfurion with the roots, you got the Abathur hat with the spike burst that can just absolutely hit, all those clumped up people, easy peasy. If they don't want to go for a double warrior and they're just going to leave it to Leoric, then, a melee DPS could absolutely go well. The Butcher, Kerrigan, for example. Not entirely too sure you'll see an Illidan or a Thrall, but Vala, Tassadar, somebody got a bit more range. Tychus even. Falstad actually. A Falstad Tyrael could work out really well here with for the Judgment. Because if you get into the Judgment into the Hinterlands Blast, you could actually look to eliminate, Sylvanas, look to eliminate a Zagara. The only problem there is that Uther is already picked up from Gamers2, and it's going to be a Divine Shield. So with that shield, he could actually negate the combo. So maybe Genei Ryodan's going to say, all right, we're not going to deal with that then. So probably not the Tyrael Falstead. Still could be a Falstead, but probably not going to be that that crispy taco that we have seen in the past. 35 seconds and counting. Genei Ryodan, we're really just trying to figure out what these last two picks want to be. It is going to be the Tyrael. Is this going to be a Falstead? It is going to be the Falstead. So they're going to go for it anyways. Uther, with that cleanse, he's like, we have two tools that can work here. Gamers2 can go into Cleanse and go into Divine Shield. Both of those can defeat that combo. I don't feel for Genei Ryodan anymore. With that, I mean, they got the double tank with the Leoric. They got the Abathur hat. I think that's spectacular. But they can't go for a crispy taco combo. And because of that, like, they're going to have to try to bait out the shield, I guess. If they can bait out the shield and wait for it, the judgment coming into it, it still can be defeated by the cleanse. If you cleanse out the judgment, you like the damage will still happen, but the stun won't, and that means you can move out of the Falstead. Still, I mean, on this map, they got Split Soak with the Abathur. They got the mobility of the Falstead with that fly going into it. I mean, there's a lot of global pressure that can be applied from Genei. I'm just not feeling that team fight. It's going to come down to gameplay to really show us, you know, that this can work. Gamers2, I said Vala a little bit earlier. I said Tassadar. I think a Tassadar actually could go very well into this, but you're a little light on damage by the end of it. So Vanus and Zagara, not exactly the big damage goers. I'm really hoping it's not going to be a Nazeebo, because I don't think the triple specialists who don't really excel at team fighting are going to have enough in the bank. The mages are out. Again, Vala, Tychus are kind of the only two that really come to mind. Unless it's going to be our own double warrior for Gamers2, which would be Stitches and Nubarak. No, Nubarak's out. Stitches, Chen, Diablo, Arthas. I'm not really seeing any kind of big synergistic values with the team here. So I do think it actually does have to be a damage. Like, you need to start chewing through the Tyrael. You need to start chewing through the Leoric. And Vala is your best bet for single target. They're gonna go for an Illidan. I think. Until the admins tell me otherwise. until they tell me that this isn't an Illidan, I'm assuming this is an Illidan. Okay. Now I'm thinking Genei Ryodan has a little bit of a better draft. Illidan can stick to these guys like glue, but there's no way an Illidan is going to beat a Leoric Abathur, a Tyrael Abathur. The Malfurion Tranquility is going to be absolutely huge. The only way to stop out a Tranquility in this regard will be a Zagara Maw. And they're picking Illidan in the draft, in the game, in the lobby. So it is an Illidan last pick. Uther, the dream team for an Illidan is typically like a heal plus like a bruiser, like a Tyrande, like a Tassadar, right? Illidan doesn't have that dream team here. Uther is going to be working like double or triple duty to kind of keep his team from going under. My gosh. Gamers2 with the interesting draft. I was expecting more of a melee from Genei Ryodan. Like if it was going to be double warrior and then like a butcher or something, right? But they go into the crispy taco against kind of my reasoning. And now Gamers2 going for a melee DPS against that same kind of reasoning. Very interesting. All right, the lobby's up. We're going to be getting into this here shortly, guys, but we are going to throw you a reminder. Steel Series giveaway. All you got to do is tweet us your Hitbox username and use the hashtag Stormgrounds in your tweet to join the Stormgrounds giveaway, powered by Steel Series. You can be winning a Steel Series Sensei Raw Heroes of the Storm Edition. You could be winning a Steel Series QCK Heroes of the Storm Edition mousepad. Both of them look phenomenal, and that's all thanks to the generosity of our sponsors, Steel Series. So make sure that you make sure to sign up for that giveaway as we load in to once again Sky Temple here for the game number 1 of this best of 3. Gamers2 and Genei Ryodan. Kind of, don't know where we could be going here for Genei Ryodan. They're a relatively unknown team. They're coming into this. Gamers2 is definitely a household brand in the EU market. So there is, the stigma that Gamers2 up against a newbie team, a lot of people are going to be looking for Gamers2 to win. But if Genei Ryodan can put up even a fight, you're going to be making a name for yourself here in the EU Stormgrounds number 2. We'll have to see how this goes. On the left-hand side, G2 Nick, Leo from Korea. Okay, apparently middle click doesn't want to work for me. Backsec, Saichu, and Yahweh. I think it's Yahweh. It's not Joe. It's Yahweh. They're going to be making up the side of G2 Gamers. Or Gamers2, I should say. Henky Boy, Kefka, on the right-hand side. Ooh, that's an interesting name. Jackal? Jackal? Jackal. I'm going with Jackal. Jackal? Is it a Jackal? Bad Benny and Zartaz. They're going to be making up Genei, Ryodan. And they're going to be looking to put a point up on the board here early up against Gamers2. Remember, we're guaranteed at least 2 matches of a best of 3. Which means we're going to be seeing a Blackheart's Bay come hell or high water. So whoever can put up this first win can hopefully try to play their game there in that second. Yahweh into the bottom, up against Bad Benny. Already lost out half his health and had to hit the fountain. That's the big power of Falstead and the Abahat. Abahat now on Jackal there in the mid on that Leoric. Going to be holding down the boss. And it's a triple lane top. Back second Nicker. They're going to be looking for that big push. They only got Sylvanas, but they also got that Zagara there. And already big damage on top of that first tower. It's hard to say no when the towers don't fight back. Hanky Boy and Kefka, they're going to need some kind of support up here. The two of them are not going to be able to deal with the Sylvanas Zagara. The only ranged is Henki. And that means that Leo from Korea is just going to have a heck of an easy time just healing this up. Kefka's going to actually go in. They're looking for a little bit of a flank, but again, it's just not going to work. 2 ranged DPS up against Euterio. Abahat aside, just look at him. Skin of his teeth, not looking so healthy whatsoever. Leoric having a little bit of an easier time there mid up against Saichu. Bottom, however, is bullying up against Yahweh pretty hard. But at the minute 30 mark has now come and passed. We do have those temples now coming up. Saichu immediately not transitioning to mid. I would have actually looked to him to actually go straight for that mid tempo, but no, he's going to come top. They are going to try to augment the hell out of this push, because not only Sylvanas and Zagara, taking down half of the gate and one of those towers, if they can get more and more, and speaking of that, Kefka, low hit points and the dwarf toss, it's enough. Henki Boy is actually going to drop here as well. This is almost guaranteed a top fort. At the 2-minute mark with a tower already down, Saichu to kind of hold that lane, and Sylvanas Zagara to push. Jackal, oh, wrong place, wrong time, my friend. He is actually going to drop very quickly here. Sure, he'll spawn, but without any kind of support, he'll just going to go straight back down again. And the rest of this laser shots, could that actually be a very quick fort? We're going to have to keep an eye on that one. Bottom lane, Zartaz pushing in, just trying to drain out that ammo, look for as much split damage as he can. Bad Benny here in the mid has to now deal with Zhao Wei. Henki Boy and Kefka are going to be here. They will push him off, and they should actually be able to take the rest of these shots. So the temples will trade out pretty much evenly, but that is that top fort gone. The push comp of Zagara Sylvanas this early on, not really finding an answer yet. That's going to be a level 6 to 5 advantage for Gamers2. Bad Benny not looking so healthy there mid, but it doesn't look like there's enough really to seal the deal. Saichu looking for the bird, not going to find him, instead just comes down mid, and that's going to be Yahweh going once more into the bottom. Level 6s to 5s coming in, 7. Who actually has mules? Probably the Abathur, if I have to take a bet. So Genei Ryodan to pick up an Abathur mule. Very likely. We don't actually have one available from Gamers2. Doubt that they actually care that they don't, but at the same time, it's always a good idea to draft at least one person that can pick it up here, because Sky Temple, it's the strongest map choice for a mule. Alright, this mid push is kind of getting a lot of work done here. Jackal, unstoppable, will still be able to get out of that Wraith Walk, but still, damage is starting to mount. We got Henki up into the top, just kind of doing the best he can for defending. Has that Moonburn, so he does a little bit of extra damage against minions and mercenaries. Not a bad way to go. But Nick and Saichu, they're still pushing in. Towers are gone. We got Backsec into the bottom. He's going to be trying to augment the push of the Stone Bros down here. They're looking for even more experience. 8 to 7. Did we actually get that mule? Yep. Abathur mule is real. The Ossian renewal there for our Leoric. And secret weapon on top of the power throw. And would you believe Flow Rider for our Griffin? Bad Benny going for the cooldown of barrel roll. Looking to keep himself safe. Not a common choice for level 4. And do actually see more and more of the gathering power these days. If not that, the lightning strikes. But look at this. Bottom tempo is basically poised to spawn. There it is. And this top lane push is getting so much value. Yahweh and crew are going to be pushing that all the way up to the keep. That's going to be draining a heck of a lot of ammo. Jackal into the mid. Not going to get that stun. That unstoppable coming out from the Wraith Walk. You see the mule kind of working overtime mid, but it's a full man G2 train into this bottom lane. And without really any kind of other lane soak. It's going to be a bit of a climb to 10, but still, that 10 is going to be here fairly soon because of these lasers. The lasers taking out, you know, these towers. We got a little bit of soak here for this bottom lane as well. This is just not something that Genei Ryodan can kind of do. I mean, they're not going to have that level advantage. Not going to have the talent tier advantage. Jackal is just not going to get out of this one. Nick cannot quite find that that finish. But here it is. Level 10 now coming in. And Genei Ryodan do smartly disengage. They do not want to get caught with their pants down up against a heroic tiered Gamers2. So what kind of heroics are we going to see? Well, probably all the usual suspects. Metamorphosis, Wailing Arrow, the Divine Shield, the Maw, and Mirrodin probably with that avatar. If he goes for a Haymaker, I'd be hella surprised. But at this point, level 10, 9. It's not the worst start I've ever seen, but Genei Ryodan is very much on the back foot here. Bottom fort down, top fort down. Yahweh able to just kind of seal the deal once more. We got this push squad here mid. Zagara and Sylvanas just going to be pushing and pushing. We got the Abathur hat on top of the fort, but that's not going to be near enough. We need the rest of the team to collapse, but they can't fight off this aggression. Level 11 to still not even 10. Genei is basically just have to take a little bit of a side seat and watch that fort crumble. Lasers are done. Where does the rest of the shop go? Looks like bottom, yeah, the bottom keep gate. But we do get level 10 now from Genei. They can fight. They're going to have an opportunity here if they want to stop this steal. Jackal not going for it. No, they're going to go for the kill instead. We got a great Maw there from Backsec to reset that initiation. It was a great judgment into everything all, but now they're getting body blocked. Jackal's going to be down. Kefka likely to be dropping here as well. He's going to just throw the sword, look for the kill on top of Backsec, but the shield is good. And Uther saying no dice. Yahweh into the back as well, picked up the third kill. Low hit points abound, but the big stun there on top of Henky Boy, that Abathur hat is just not going to be enough to take anybody down from Gamers2. Low hit points from Leo, low hit points from Illidan, but they will live to fight another day. 6 takedowns to 0. This is not looking good for Genei whatsoever, as they are now looking at a team about to hit that 13 mark, and that is once again going to be a talent tier advantage going the way of Gamers2. We don't even have the clone. Just notice this. You know, we do got actually, let's see, the March of the Black King, Evolve Monstrosity, the Judgment, Tranquility, and the Hinterlands. So no fighting clone. It's not going to be a double Leoric. It's not going to be a double Falstead or anything. It's going to be trying for a split push. What else do we have here from our Abathur? Pressurized Gland, Adrenal, and the Call Down. So he is like a battle Abathur, but he wants to remain in hat form for the battles. He doesn't want to bring that clone to bear. Not entirely too sure that will pay off by the end of it, but between the mule and between the split push, I understand the strategy from Ryodan, but they're just not going to get it done. If they're 2 levels down like this, it is going to be a heck of an upward climb. The Bjork is going to get out somewhat safe and sound. He's going to hit the fountain regardless. 2 more temples now spawning up. 13 talents, however, have come into effect. Shadow Shield, Immolation. First Aid, now the 6th Sense here from Yahweh. Pretty cookie cutter standard Illidan build. And we got this bottom temple. It does look like we're leaving the top to its own devices, but if Sylvanas and Zagara, who are now setting up for this bottom lane, they're going to be trying to augment this push. With enough pressure and no defense here from Genei, this is not only going to be the gate, but it's going to be a heck of a lot of pressure on top of this keep. And right now, if they can actually pick up a keep at the 10-minute mark, that's going to be a heck of an advantage going into the rest of this game. So you can see that Genei, they are opting for defense. There's nobody into this top temple. Kefka actually just kind of hanging around mid. Kefka, if you're going to be hanging out anywhere, it should be top right now. But Gamers2, they're not satisfied with just those lasers. And the lasers aren't going to put the pressure on the keep. It forces out the mule, but it's not enough for a kill. It looks like they were talking about to the boss just for a moment there. Yahweh into the top. He's going to just clean up that push. Will that be enough to save out the fort? Well, it's going to be debatable. Now we got pings on top of the boss bottom. We are looking for the Gamers2 crew. The Gamers2 crew is all into the top right now. And you know that it's not going to be a boss attempt here from Genei. If it is, they just are not going to have the damage, I think, to take it down. And Gamers2, they kind of sense a little bit of what's up. They're going to come straight back down here. The invulnerability denies the Hinterlands blast. You saw the judgment. It's not going to be enough at all from Genei. They throw down 2 ults, get nothing for it. And now they are basically just going to be stuck back at square one. You got Yaoi into the top. He's getting big damage on top of these towers. Level 15, nearly 16 coming into it. Bad Benny. Oh, he's going to get stunned up. Saichu with the body blocks and that avatar. It's going to be enough to take down the Falstead. Too sweet. And now I'm not too sure about the chance on this Leoric. He throws out the March of the Black King and dies immediately on the first swing. Backsec, this low hit points. Kefka is finally actually going to get that kill, but he will trade himself for it. And now Henky Boy left to his own devices. He is going to drive, and this is a 4-man wipe for Gamers2 with that 16 advantage coming into it. That was a 4v5, would you believe? Yaoi not even part of that one as he was into the top, looking for those temple shots, and the temple shots were good. Took out the entire gate and quite a bit of the hit points, not only the tower, but that fountain as well. The rest of Gamers2 into the bottom lane, still trying to put up some pressure, looking to see how much they can do up against these keeps. But without Zagara, they're not going to be pushing in too hard, but still, map presence, it's pretty much predominant here from Gamers2. We do got once more that monstrosity into the top, but Yaoi probably going to be cleaning it up. See how long they can keep this fort into this top lane going. But with a 3-level advantage, it is basically Gamers2 game to lose at this point. Yaoi is now going to be trying to just duel out this monstrosity. And, you know, again, 3 levels, Abahat or no, it's just not going to matter. And he's going to be able to clean that up. We do got a lot of posturing now for the boss into the bottom, but still, that talent tier advantage and pretty much everything else coming in here. G2 Saichu going right there on top of that point. Unstoppable coming out for Jacko, but no, that is not going to be near enough. Yaoi's right there, and once more the March of the Black King is going to go pretty much unused. A lot of posturing for the boss, but it will only really result in 1 takedown by the end of it. We have Give Him the Axe from our Ryodan. I think this is actually like trademark Saichu at this point. I've seen this a few times, but it's only ever been in Europe. Give him the axe for 75% more damage against the stunned targets. Here comes Jacko back to the living, but 4 Stone Bros. That keep is donezo. The defense will be solid, but still not able to keep up that keep. The 12.5-minute mark for catapults. Gamers2 gotta be feeling real good about that one. And 1 tempo coming up right now. That's going to be pretty much uncontested, I think, for Gamers2 at this point. That should be attacking mid, and that's going to be the last gate standing. Top, likely not to get muled out. It's probably going to be a focus here more on mid instead. But, you know, you throw Sylvanas at the gate, throw Zagar at the gate, you're going to be looking at a heck of a lot more pushing power. But nobody's going for it. You're going to play defensive. How many ults do we have? Everybody have all their heroics ready to go. Kefka and crew. Kefka's out there in the forefront. You got Jackal. Jack, you're going to need to throw out that march fairly soon, buddy. Otherwise, you might lose it once more. Kefka, not looking so hot. He's just going to go into the retreat mode a little bit there. Needs a few heals here from Henky Boy. Still got that Tranquility ready to go. Jackal's now got one on the front line. Lots of damage there on top of Saichu. He's going to have to Dwarf Toss out of it. The Drain Hope is just absolutely ridiculous. The Hinterland doesn't hit a damn thing, ladies and gentlemen. The Tyrael Judgment was good. The Roots now here from the counter as well. Big damage on top of Yaoi. Yaoi is actually going to drop, but so will Leoric, so will the Uther by the end of it. The Hinterlands could have been a moneymaker right there, but instead it looks like we're just going to try to trade out evenly. 2 for 2 so far. G2 is now regrouped. Kefka not with the hit points. Bad Benny got to be running out of that one there as well. Oh, is Saichu actually going to be trying for the chase? No. Well, maybe. I don't know. That Battle Beast doesn't seem to know where he wants to go. We did take all the shots there from the temple into the mid, though. And as you can see, the gate here into the mid on the side of Ryodan. Not exactly there anymore. But still, I mean, that's the first set of real takedowns that we've actually had from Genei Ryodan. And, you know, again, the Hinterland's Blast just have not really been making their mark. Yaoi and Uther are still down for a little bit. A little bit of map control rested back into the hands of Genei Ryodan, but still, what can they do with it? They don't have a siege camp up for another 5 seconds. We got more Stone Bros now marching down this bottom lane. But more importantly, Gamers2 looking at that level 20, and there it is. This is once more the talent tier advantage going forward, and these are the Storm talents as well. You're seeing bolts. Probably going to see the permanent Meta, there it is, the demonic form coming out. Another Bolt of the Storm there for the Sylvanas, the unstoppable force for our Ryodan. He's not going to go for the rewind at all. And of course, in traditional fashion, holding on to the redemption at the end of it all for Uther. So level 20 going forward, 15 minutes in. We have that one lane of catapults. Finally, we do actually have some mercenary pressure coming out from Genei Ryodan. They got those Stone Bros into the bottom. We have had repeated monstrosities into the top. They haven't really been making their mark. Zartaz has just kind of been all by his lonesome into the top lane. But with the temple spawning mid and bottom, looks like Gamers2 is content just to take out the bottom one to themselves. There's not going to be any kind of contest here from Genei. They're just going to be happy that they can finally target down one of the last remaining forts standing for Gamers2. That should be the mid, but they're not going to get the bottom out of this one. They get some towers and they'll get some experience, and that will put them very close to 20. But Gamers2, they're going to try to make use of this. Are they actually going to try to use their talent tier advantage to force them off of this point? Yahweh's still into the bottom lane. A little under half of the shots left. There goes that mid keep. Now going to be targeting out this top and the tower. Need a mule. We're going to need a mule there from Genei. But we're also level 20. Just right there on the precipice here for it. And there we go. Red now have the 20. The window of opportunity has gone shut. Hive Mind double tanks with double hardened. We also got a Storm Shield on top of that. And the Call of the Wild Hammer coming out for our Griffin. But still, you're going to get shoved off that point. The last few shots. Going to go all the way here. That should be the tower. Yep, and it is. The bottom point is still actually very healthy. Where did Yahweh go? I don't know. He didn't go for boss. He just left the point. So I guess that we were looking for a team fight from Gamers2. They didn't get one. So the rest of the shots actually going to go over here to red. And that feels like a little bit of a blunder. Little bit of a blunder. We do got the monstrosity here. Don't know why, but Saichu, he's going to throw out that avatar, and Yahweh into the back. He's there on top of Henky Boy. Silence Arrow is going to land on nobody, but we do get the demonic form out here. Kefka looking for big damage. That was actually a really good shot there from Benny on top of Nicker, but he couldn't grab the kill. And now it's big stuns and big promise on top of Kefka, but Leo from Gray, he's low. A great maw. It's going to go down. Here comes the control. Give him the axe, Saichu. No, actually, the axe going to Saichu instead. Uther is now going to drop here as well. And Genei Ryodan somehow coming out on top of this fight. Yahweh is still dancing around Benny. He will get that kill. Looks for it on top of Henky, and he will actually indeed grab that as well. I might have spoken too soon as Leoric is going to drop, and Kefka over the wall, but there's going to be a blink. Nicker is trying to take him down, and he will. That will once more be the big team wipe that we were looking for. And Gamers2 trading out early and evenly, but by the end of it, able to solidify a 4-1. Remember, Leo from Korea had that redemption. He was holding on to it. He's back into the fray. And now this 4-man push is nothing Jackal's going to be able to do, and nothing a mule can actually stop here either. At the 18-minute mark, it will be a Gamers2 victory here on game number 1 of Sky Temple here for the Hitbox Stormgrounds number 2. I gotta say, Genei Ryodan, kind of scary at that late game. I mean, with so many disadvantages going into them early, into them mid, always consistently down in the experience, they were able to almost take a fight at the end of it all. Pretty good tenacity for a team, but they gotta get that early game going. And with, you know, an Abathur in one lane, with the double tanks, there's just no early game damage. And, you know, if they can actually kind of fix that for coming up into Blackheart's Bay, I think we might actually have a better chance to put a point on the board. But Gamers2 looking very solid by the end of it all. I said this back at draft though, the Tyrael Falstead combo. You try to get that crispy taco out, you got Cleanse, you got Divine Shield. How many times did that get defeated? How many times did that get defeated? It's a little bit scary. So if you want to run that crispy taco, guys, you got to run it pretty much on a Rhaegar. Like, if you run it on a Malfurion, he'll ice block. If you throw it on an Uther, he'll shield. If you throw it on a Rhaegar, he might cleanse, but that's all he's got up his sleeve. That's all he's got up his sleeve. Either way, game number 1 going to the Gamers2. We're going to set up for game number 2 as we come back for Genei Ryodan versus Gamers2 here in the Hitbox Stormgrounds number 2. Lots of 2s in today's commentary. And hopefully we'll get an update from Zoya, see if he can return to us from the land of the dead computers. But other than that, we're going to set up. We'll see you for Blackheart's Bay in just a few, guys. Come on back. Fork or Jester will be waiting, and hopefully you'll be here to keep me company. Stay tuned.